You guys offed all of the characters that George created. And now you're sitting there saying this is the most valuable character we have because it's the only one, because the closet is bare. You're in control of the closet. You're in control of these characters. And you killed them. You not only killed them, you assassinated their characters. You didn't build them up further. You literally demoted them. And now they want to sit there and say, well, we just don't have anyone else to use. Well, no shit, because you destroyed them.
Fulfill your destiny. TheorySabers.com.
I don't even think we're laughing anymore at this point, or even find this to be a surprise. But the Hollywood Reporter has given us some information from an insider. And let's get to reading it, because this is, gosh, got a lot of things to say. Some fans expressed criticisms that Lucasfilm would return to the well to make episodes, as they are called, beyond the 9 movies that comprise of the Skywalker story, which had been billed as concluding with 2019's Episode 9 Rise of Skywalker. The film grossed $1.077 billion globally, but also wasn't received well by much of the fan base. But Rey, the scavenger-turned-Jedi, played by Daisy Ridley in the last 3 episode movies, is key to the franchise's next return. That potentially puts Kinberg's trilogy story development, as early in its conceptual stages as it may be, on a collision course with the Rey standalone movie that is actively in the works with director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. That feature, revealed with fanfare in April 2023 at Star Wars Celebration in London, is to star Ridley and could have already been in production were it not for some unanticipated headwinds, with writers rotating around more than R2-D2's Chrome Dome. A new writer search is underway, so it's unclear when that one would go. We're getting to it. Perhaps that is why Lucasfilm was receptive to Kinberg's multi-story pitch. Anything to move Rey forward, but it does engender rumors in the Star Wars underground of filmmakers jostling for characters. Ridley, for her part, recently told The Hollywood Reporter, "I feel like the new ones will be so interesting. Time has passed and a lot has changed for me personally, so it'll be interesting to come back to someone who I knew so well, but in such a different moment." Did she really know Rey all that well? Because there have been interviews where she didn't even know who her lineage was, who she was supposed to be a descendant of. Originally, it was talked about her to be a Kenobi, then she was a nobody, then she was going to be, at the last minute, she's told Josh Gad that she was going to be a Palpatine, and she didn't even know. So imagine going through a trilogy of films, like took 5 years of her life essentially of filming, and not knowing really anything about the character that you're playing. While insiders dispute the notion that there is a battle for Rey, there definitely is internal deliberation within Lucasfilm as to what to do with the heir to Skywalker next. She is the most valuable cinematic asset, in some ways maybe the only one Star Wars has right now. One source close to the franchise tells THR, The Hollywood Reporter. Is that insane? Rey is one of the most hated characters in Star Wars, and not because of Daisy Ridley. All right, don't start with the racist, sexist bullshit again. Daisy Ridley is an actress who plays one of the shittiest characters to ever come into Star Wars. I mean, she now takes second and third place to Osha and May from The Acolyte, but really, are we even going to consider that canon? Are we even going to consider that Star Wars? No, we're not. So, Rey is, I would say, arguably one of the worst written, the most poorly written characters in history. No struggle, no actual training, essentially just thinks of the Force and all of a sudden has all of these abilities and powers and is able to beat the shit out of a well-trained heir to the actual heir to the throne, to the Skywalker line, Darksider, Sith wannabe, grandson of Darth Vader. Get out of here, please. This isn't a hit on Daisy Ridley. This is a hit on the character, on the people who wrote the character and greenlit this character that they really shouldn't have. They should have put a little more thought process into it. Asajj Ventress, that's a great female character. Mara Jade, great female character. Ahsoka Tano, great female character. Leia, Padme, great female characters. Powerful, strong. They've been through things. They've learned from their mistakes. What has Rey learned? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And to say that she is the most important character in Star Wars right now, the most valuable one. I mean, at this point, no one's really questioning if Lucasfilm's lost their touch or even knows what the heck's going on anymore because of all the decisions they've made. And really, the nail in the coffin for me was the Acolyte. So for them to come out and say this, yeah, I'm really not surprised. You have so many valuable characters, so many valuable female characters, male characters, aliens in Star Wars. And to say that Rey, who I would say is one of the biggest breakers of the Star Wars fandom, simply has to do with the writers, J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, and Kathleen Kennedy, who pushed all of this to come out. To say that she's the valuable one, I'm very confused. Actually, I'm not confused. I am continuously confused. You know what? Dude, this is just ridiculous. We need a full clean house at Lucasfilm. We need people to come in there who actually respect George's story, who know storytelling, who know exactly what they need to be doing next. I mean, you have years and years of source material of comics and games and shows and so much stuff and books, and you just need to adapt one of those characters. Just adapt one of the popular characters. Yeah, heck, even one of the not so popular characters. You're going to have at least a better storyline than anything that's been coming out today. I mean, for God's sakes, I would argue that Rey is probably the least valuable character to Star Wars right now. And that doesn't mean that there aren't people who like her. There's people who like to eat shit. I'm just saying people like everything. So I don't like Rey. I think she's a really horrible character. I don't think she's a good character at all. She's boring. She's lame. Nobody really identifies with her. Nobody connects with her. And if you do, then you need to ask yourself why. Is it because she's a female? I connected to Megatron when I was a kid. I connected to Optimus Prime when I was a kid. I connected to frickin' Mufasa or Simba. They're not even human. Forget their gender. They're not even human. I connect to Ahsoka Tano. You have to look at, what is this soul going through on their journey? And if they're going through something that's actually worth finding inspiration from and looking up to, then great. Yeah, that's awesome. But I don't see anything that Rey did that was heroic or anything that actually put her in some sort of a uncomfortable moment where she had to really overcome and train, and then she failed and trained and she got back to it and she kind of did good. I mean, Luke, for God's sakes, failed pretty much twice. Like, I mean, he was on his ass in the end at both Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I mean, we can go into like why and all this and that, but at the end of the day, he was crying for his daddy in Return of the Jedi, and then in Empire Strikes Back, he literally had no hand and he was useless. If Vader wanted, he could have just thrown his lightsaber and that's it, finished. We need to really move on from Rey. I think the damage is done, but that doesn't mean it can't be fixed or glossed over, or we can just kind of ignore it for a bit and focus on maybe some better storytelling. The Mandalorian, I mean, it's not totally dead. You guys did a great job with 1 and 2. You really shit the bed with the third one, but I don't think it's irredeemable. I don't think it's lost forever. I think you can bring it back. So why don't we focus on them a little bit? Oh, but we are. Okay, so great. So why don't we focus on perhaps Luke Skywalker? I mean, they destroyed his character. So how about we bring him back in between 6 and 7 as a younger Luke, as the Luke that we all wanted to see? That, I would say, is the most valuable character. How about Anakin Skywalker in the Clone Wars? How about we bring him back in a live-action show or movie? I'm tired of these shit shows. Let's bring him back in a movie. Let's bring Anakin Skywalker in between episode 2 and 3 back for something. Let's bring him somewhere close to, I don't know, the Clone Wars animated show and have some missions or create a whole new plot that happened in between 2 and 3 that nobody knows about yet. Have Dave Filoni write it. Have it with Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. I don't really know how out of touch these guys have to be going forwards. Like, is it possible to be even, like, you're out of touch? Is it possible to be even further? Maybe. We'll see. According to sources, Rey is set to play a role in several movies that are being developed, although which ones remain unclear. Yeah, it doesn't matter the fact that she's going to be in several of them. Not just one, several. Star Wars movie development has been under scrutiny for several years, with Lucasfilm head Kathleen Kennedy taking fire for not developing meaningful characters beyond those first crafted by Lucas prior to the sale to Disney in 2012 for $4 billion. And if the franchise looks forward in its canon timeline, all those beloved characters, Luke, Leia, Vader, Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Han, are dead or had their storylines wrapped in prequels or spin-offs. No, the sequels actually destroyed all of them. The sequels destroyed Luke. You didn't do anything with Leia. When you had her in episode 7, you did nothing with her. When you had her in episode 8, you did nothing with her. Vader's gone. Obi-Wan is gone. Yoda apparently can now shoot lightning. I don't know what's going on with him. His puppet looks weird. Then Han Solo, you turned him into an absolute deadbeat loser who's now separated from Leia. Great. Everyone's favorite story. Yeah, because all our parents are separated essentially. So why don't we just, George worked so hard over 3 films to put the most unlikely couple together. But opposites do attract. A princess and a rough smuggler. But yeah, let's just separate them. No problem. Created in the post-Lucas era is arguably the only entity with currency on the big screen now. The closet is a little bare, says another source. Yeah, because you killed everybody. You guys killed everyone. You guys offed all of the characters that George created. And now you're sitting there saying this is the most valuable character we have because it's the only one, because the closet is bare. You're in control of the closet. You're in control of these characters. And you killed them. You not only killed them, you assassinated their characters. You didn't build them up further. You literally demoted them. And now they want to sit there and say, well, we just don't have anyone else to use. Well, no shit, because you destroyed them. What the Kinberg hiring lays bare is that development of movies at the company remains in its own unique ecosystem in Hollywood. There are numerous Star Wars movies being developed that overlap characters or storylines. They are not related, but whatever one were to come out first could, in a domino effect, impact the ones after it. Dawn of the Jedi movie takes place long before the Skywalkers, may be one of the exceptions. They'll probably find some way to put Rey into that too, I bet. He's like the frickin' true chosen one. Some Lucasfilm directors are aware of what others are working on, while others are not. For instance, Taika Waititi is he still making a movie? After his Thor Love and Thunder, man, I don't really want him to touch anything Star Wars. That guy just throws weird, lame comedy into everything. Why? Sean Levy has a feature project in the works, and Donald Glover's Lando idea has moved over development from TV to the film side. A Rogue Squadron project is also still in development as a feature. The Rogue Squadron development with Patty Jenkins, which actually seemed cool because her dad was a fighter pilot and she was passionate about that, clearly, and Star Wars. They advertised it, then they canceled it, and then they said, no, it's coming back, and then we never heard anything of it again. Dude, everything over there is just an absolute shit show. It's a mess. I don't understand. It's a different way of development, says another insider familiar with the company's way of working. There's so much parallel work going on. It also points to the unique nature of Star Wars to fans, and in this case, filmmakers and producers. It is not a brand or a franchise, but something akin to a religion. Yes, exactly. Unlike Marvel or DC with decades of stories propelling them forwards, or even Harry Potter with 7 fleshed-out books, Star Wars at its core has been the original George Lucas movies. Nothing has been codified or been made more canonical in modern times than those 3 movies. To filmmakers and executives, the first trilogy is the Old Testament. You're being asked to create a New Testament. A New Testament, adds one source who worked on previous movies, and no one can agree on anything, and there's a lot of second-guessing about meanings. Well, yeah, because your New Testament is predicated on something broken. You broke the sequel trilogy with lack of care, lack of communication, lack of understanding, lack of good storytelling, or lack of talent, really. And now you want to build upon that with a New Testament. If the foundation's broken, you aren't going to have a good time. So really, the Rey movie is not the way forwards. You need to go back. You got to go back in time now. Or you jump super far ahead and you leave Rey, drop it. It is what it is. You guys shit the bed, take the L or 3 L's, and then move forwards. Clean slate. Make Grogu, a bit of an adult. He's now the last line of Jedi and Mandalorian, and he's going forth into a galaxy far, far away, finding new adventures, and he finds new friends along the way. It'd be pretty cool. It'd be pretty crazy. He's got Luke's lightsaber, the green one. I don't know, maybe that's why Luke didn't have his green lightsaber, is because he gave it to Grogu. That's actually not bad. You want to tie it into Disney. Another source familiar with the process is more business-minded. I say to that, get out of here. Don't even focus on Star Wars with your business mind, because nothing you say is going to matter. Nothing you say is going to be of any merit or have any substance. You're coming at it with money. You're coming at it trying to be like, okay, well, how can we make more money? It's all about nostalgia. Let's just pull on people's nostalgia. So yeah, let's just jangle some keys. Let's just put some Darth Plagueis in a cave. Let's just freaking bring Anakin back for 2 seconds as some cheap trick. Oh, a mention of Darth Vader. Whoa, nostalgia, money. And you wonder why it fails. Because you don't know Star Wars. You don't know the heart of it. You don't have the passion of it. You just see it as cash. Business-minded, no. Please, go away.
It's gonna work on me. Only money.
Star Wars isn't about nostalgia. It's about telling a story of escapism, really, at the end of the day. It's about a story of heroism. It's about character development. It's about themes that we all go through. The first 3 films were about family dramas. Really, think about it. Major family drama. You want to talk about a dysfunctional family? Right there. The first 3 films. All of it. Uncle Owen, Aunt Beru, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Old Ben, Uncle Ben, Darth Vader, Leia, Luke, Han's like the best friend. I mean, you got Chewie the dog. It's all about telling a good story. And the fact that it was done in space, okay, takes you out of this world so you can really dive into it. And then you put in relatable themes. Like Luke didn't know where he belonged, didn't know what his next move was going to be. He didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. He felt lost. How many of us have felt lost in life? Every single one of us. Nobody had it all figured out. Nobody does. You just kind of shoot shit at the wall and you hope it works, hope it sticks, and you go from there. You try to make the best of every day. And Luke did that and he failed. He got his ass handed to him and then he came back stronger and better. And he still got his ass handed to him by the Emperor. I mean, like, then you got the story of Anakin Skywalker, how he sold himself to the devil essentially for his own ego, for his own fears, for his own bullshit in his mind, and for the need to control. And you have all of these relatable themes, very common themes that all of us humans go through. Every one of us, all of you watching this, right now at this moment, we all go through things. I go through things, everybody. But the point is to find something to attach yourself to that you can look up and be like, all right, you know what? I can make my way out of this. Just like freaking Batman or Superman or Luke Skywalker or Leia or Ahsoka or whatever. I laugh because I was going to be like, anyone in the Acolyte? No. Anyways, I really want Star Wars to be good. I'm very, very worried that they'll continue to go down this path, which will just ruin things and detach more and more people. And I'm concerned. You know, I really think that they need to stop looking at this with a business mind and really start to look at this with their heart and their soul. And what kind of characters do they want to see on screen? What kind of message do they want to tell kids? What kind of stories do they want to tell people, humans? And once they start doing that and they start to getting away from this business-minded bullshit, you'll start to then tread along the same path that George did, just to tell a good story. And then you'll see the money roll. It's really all it is. And that being said, I'm going to end this video. I'm going to go write my own comic because I'm working on my own IP because it's time. I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. And may the force be with you always. Let me know what you think about this.